Welcome back from that break, and this is Political Arena here on S24 television. A strong democracy depends on active citizens, not just elected leaders. Civic participation means that people take part in the affairs of their communities and country by voting, asking questions, engaging in public discussion, and demanding transparency, accountability, and good governance. Today, we will discuss on how ordinary Nigerians can help to hold leaders accountable and contribute meaningfully to the development of our dear country, Nigeria. Our guest this afternoon is Benjamin Hon Tekuma, a civic advocate who is passionate about good governance, public policy, and citizenship engagement. Tekuma, welcome to Political Arena on S24.
Thank you so much, Abubakar.
I
Good to be here.
let me just call you Honorable.
No problem, as the court pleases. Yeah.
So what does civic participation mean in simple terms?
Basically, it is activities that an individual or groups of individuals participate in that ultimately lead towards effecting change in the community, effecting change in the society at large. It involves things like voting. It involves things like holding government accountable, writing petitions. It involves things like peaceful protest. It involves things like, reaching out to your legislators to ensure that those legislators
are doing the necessary
doing the right things. Yes, just basically whatever you need to do to ensure that the leadership you have do what they're supposed to do and that the society functions as expected. Basically these are the things. Voluntary activities as well, things like voluntary sanitization, sanitation, voluntary, plant a tree, all of those things.
Okay.
Yeah.
If I may ask, why is it very important for citizens to hold their leaders accountable?
Yeah, because since the beginning of time, the human nature has been such that there are good and bad people.
And even ugly.
And ugly as well. Exactly. The good, the bad, the ugly. So if you leave leaders to do as they please without these checks and balances from the people that they govern, then there is a very strong likelihood that they will misuse that privilege that is given to them as leaders. And that's the reason why you would find that in society there is the police. In every society, I don't think there's one society that does not have the police force or some form of vigilante or law enforcement, right? The reason is because you could easily just expect people to do the right thing, but no, that's not how it works. So people have to be coerced, if I may use that word, to do the right thing, because there will always be people who are, will want to take laws into their hands and do all sorts of crazy stuff. So the same applies to leaders. They don't just miraculously become good people simply because they were elected.
Until you checkmate them.
Exactly. So we have to ensure that we keep them on their toes. And that's why it's very important that we, if the police is here to police we, the citizens are here to police the leaders who control the police that police us.
I could remember in one of Aristotle publication, Plato, in his book The Republic, he said that human beings have that tendency of morbid and rapacious tendency of selfish interest. And law is the only thing that can tempt human beings from making mistakes and even showcasing their own human nature.
Absolutely.
So do you think Nigerians are doing enough when it comes to holding leaders accountable?
No, absolutely not.
But we saw a kind of like petition have been going all around. Some people are even trying to recall their own legislative back.
Yes, there are efforts. I agree.
Yeah, efforts.
I agree.
Yeah.
But you asked, are they doing enough? And it's an absolute no.
But don't you think that the level of political awareness is very, very low among Nigerians?
It is. It is. But I wouldn't say the level of political awareness is low. I would say the kind of political awareness that we have seems to be the problem. we are very politically aware, and that's the reason why politicians are able to leverage ethnic cards, religious cards, to swindle votes. And that's the reason why politicians are able to raise armies from a particular ethnic group against a particular ethnic group, or a particular religious sect against a particular religious sect in seconds, because of the political awareness. The mentality is because we are politically aware. So all a politician needs to say, for example, in let's say some parts of the South, to stop you from voting for, let's say, a northern candidate, is to say that if this northern man becomes president, for example, then we will all be forced to become Muslims. That's all he needs to say. And then the low-level political knowledge that we have becomes activated, right? And all the Christian man needs to say, or a Muslim man needs to say is, this man is an Igbo man. If he becomes president, then this happens, and then, there's chaos. So the thing is, we're politically conscious, but wired by our politicians in the very wrong direction. So we are aware, but not deeply aware.
Okay, so what are the biggest challenges stopping people from speaking up or engaging in civic education?
Abuse of power.
In what aspect?
Abuse of office. You find that when there is kidnapping in some part of this country, or in any part of this country, the government moves at a very sluggish pace.
But we have seen some effort from the government.
Yeah, I'll get there. The government moves at a very sluggish pace. When you hear that there's kidnapping in Oyo, for example, it will take a very long period, and we've been advocating and insisting and saying, go and rescue these girls, go and rescue these children, go and rescue these teachers. It's not happening. There were kids that were kidnapped in Borno State. We're saying, go and rescue these kids that were kidnapped. Over 40-something children kidnapped in Borno State since 15th of May, I think, or 15th or 17th of May, within that period. Yeah, still not rescued, right? And the government moves at a very slow pace. Meanwhile, they have the security infrastructure, they have the personnel. However, make the mistake to, let me use an example. Shore, simply, he made an allegation and called the president a particular name, said the president was a criminal. And the president was swift in its efforts. And you need to see the sophisticated military, armed personnel that were assigned to Shore. So this other gentleman, Justice Crack, simply went further to advocate for the welfare of our troops on the front lines. And he revealed that, some of these troops have complained to him that, they are not being taken care of properly. And swiftly, the Nigerian army swung into action, well armed, as if they were going to fight the leader of Boko Haram, and they picked him up. However, we don't see that same kind of response
when it comes to
fighting insurgency, right? So you can tell that the government is more interested. If I sit down here and I strongly criticize Tinubu right now, and the criticism is so weighty that it could lead to his exit from the office as president in 2027, in less than 5 minutes, you find that the DSS will be here. You would find that it will be a combined squad. But if I get kidnapped here in this studio, in the next 10 months, Nigerians might come out in mass to protest, but you won't see that same level of response. So basically, the government is more interested in sending law enforcement officials to shut up people who are trying to hold them accountable, versus being interested in sending those same law enforcement officials to go and actually tackle insecurity. In addition to that, most of the law enforcement officers that we should have securing the lives and property of ordinary Nigerians and fighting terrorists and enemies of the Nigerian state are assigned as security detail to the people
VIP.
that govern us. Yes.
Well, let me ask you about young people. What role do you think young people can play in ensuring more accountable leadership in our country?
We need to become more involved.
How?
We need to jump. We need to become absolutely interested in conversations that have to do with governance in Nigeria. you find that today, when you make a post and a lady is just, dancing, that's what Nigerians are interested in. That's what the youth are mostly interested in. The youths are interested in Big Brother Niger. The youths are interested in knowing what happened
Things that
in
are
the
not
marriage.
very important.
Yes, things that are trivial. What happened between this celebrity's marriage and this celebrity? What is happening with Basket Mouth and his ex-wife? What happened to Yule Doche and the spouse? What is those are the kind of things we're interested in. Pella and Jarvis got married. We're interested. Jarvis did not serve
So
Pella
you mean our
breakfast
youth
today.
should go beyond that? Okay, due to time, let me ask you some few questions before we round it up. Looking ahead, what change would you like to see in the relationship between citizens and public office holders?
A citizenry or citizens who are not cowards. Citizens who are as bold as the citizens in the United States, the citizens in Russia. Okay, let me not say Russia because it appears that the voices are silent there. But let me say the citizens in the United States, the citizens in the UK, right? The citizens in regions or countries where the politicians or the leaders know that if you do not do the right thing, you cannot remain in office. Yes, you can't remain in office, and you can only send those armed personnel to slay or brutalize as many citizens as you think you can. But if the citizens are determined enough, they will not be scared of that. In Nigeria, everybody is individualistic and self-centered. Or let me not say everybody, but most people are individualistic and self-centered in nature. So if your child, for example, wants to go out to protest, the father or the mother will say, don't go, they'll arrest you, they'll do this. Everybody is scared. So because Nigeria is the easiest place to govern. There was a video I saw recently where...
Well, we have to draw the curtain, but finally, what message would you like to leave with Nigerians about their role in building more accountable, democratic Nigeria?
I go back to the same point I was mentioning. Stop being cowards. Stop being
individualistic.
And stop being self-centered and individualistic. Hold your leaders accountable, responsible. To account. That is it. Do not, because at the end of the day, death is inevitable, and it's better you die for a reason rather than die as a coward or through a pothole. Because if you do not die while advocating, you probably would die in a Nigerian hospital that does not have electricity. Or in a Nigeria, or by a snake bite, and there's no antivenom to take care of you. Thank
you so much.
Thank you.
I pray Nigeria will be great again.
That's our
prayer. It's a pleasure speaking to you, and thank you for honoring our invitation.
Thank you.
And this is where we draw the curtain of political arena this afternoon. Thank you, and bye for now.